Welcome to the DeFi standard. This is Patty XRP and
Mickey Be Fresh. And today we're going to go over Patty's new blog on the DeFi standard, covering the new layer 2 projects on the XRP Ledger by Richard Holland and Scott Chamberlain. So Patty, why don't you take it away here and dive us into these new projects, Evernodes and HotPocket and Sashimono and all the other great stuff coming with layer 2 on the XRP Ledger.
all right then. So you guys can see we have, like Mickey was saying, a blog post on the DeFiStandard.com. We'll link it in here if you guys want to check it out. Evernode is kind of like the big enveloping project here, and HotPocket and Sashimono are, two code bases that are going to be part of that have been worked on for, multiple years now and kind of culminating in this Evernode project. So, what is Evernode? It's going to be a permissionless, scalable layer 2 smart contract network composed from the XRP ledger. And there is a caveat here. So, Evernode is able to launch as a layer 2 basically on any blockchain. And they're picking the XRP ledger for, a lot of the reasons we all know, with like scalability, low cost transaction speed. However, it is required for them to be able to do this that the Hooks Amendment passes. And for anybody that doesn't remember what that is, the Hooks Amendment basically gives XRP accounts light smart contract functionality. And I think that should be the governance vote should be on that sometime in the fall. So hopefully we'll know about that here in a couple months now. If that's going to happen, I feel like it's going to pass. I didn't really see anything that made it seem like it wouldn't pass. And that's just going to be the one thing that's required for them to implement this project on the XRPL. But right now they're planning like that's going to happen. And so, like we were talking about, the HotPocket Consensus Protocol and the Sashimono daemon. And a daemon is basically just a program that runs in the background that allows you to connect a layer 1 with a layer 2. And so these two things are going to underpin the Evernode project. And with Evernode, basically they're going to use all these things in order to provide like a network of networks, or you could call it a node ecosystem like Strong or Pack Protocol. And this node ecosystem will be providing computational resources to dApps that are looking to launch on or really around the XRP ledger and layer 2. And with that, they're calling the dApps that will be launching essentially mini blockchains. And this project allows these mini blockchains to access all the computational resources they need, get decentralization from nodes on demand, and then also, allow it to communicate back to layer 1 of the XRP ledger. And so going further here, they are going to have a native currency. It's going to be called Evers. And basically, this is going to be issued on the XRP ledger. And the max token supply is looking to be around just shy of 31 million Evers, which will be distributed over the course of about 60 years. Additionally, with the Evers token, this is how the node operators are going to get paid by the ecosystem. So every 72 ledger closings on the XRP ledger, which is about 6 minutes, they will have a reward distribution to all the nodes that are operating within the Evernode ecosystem. And another thing to point out is that node rewards will be the highest in the early days of the network and will decrease over time. Additionally, the reason they're doing this is early adopter rewards will help bootstrap the network with node operators, as each additional node added in the nascent days of the protocol is going to be more valuable. So think about if you're moving from, 4 nodes to 5 nodes, that's a 20% increase. But if you're moving from 100 to 101 nodes, that's a 1% increase. So you can see why it matters a lot more in the beginning, is because you're growing the ecosystem much larger, like in a much larger percentage with each additional node you add on. And that's why they're going to have higher rewards at the beginning. So to get into this distribution schedule for the Evers token, they're going to have what they call 10 epochs, and these are 10 time periods where certain things are going to happen. In the first one, they'll do an airdrop to the developers, which is going to be about 2.6 million Evers. And I think that's around a 15th of the total supply, so really not that much going to the devs. And then testers, so these are people that are early node operators or dApps that are helping to test this ecosystem they're building. They will receive 2.6 million evers distributed amongst them in the second epoch. In the third one, they're going to have an airdrop for all eligible XRP holders. So, similar to the Flare Network airdrop, this is going to exclude like Ripple wallets, maybe Jed's Taco Stand wallet. And I'll be curious to see if this airdrop, as there's not an announced date yet, happens before or after Flare goes live. And if they would maybe exclude agents that are now holding a lot of XRP from people minting FXRP onto the Flare network. Maybe it's at a point in time where really not that much FXRP has been minted, so it's not that big a deal for them to worry about excluding them. Just something to keep tabs on. If you currently have, minted FXRP, that XRP that you gave over to the agents, I imagine you're not going to be eligible to get the Evers tokens for those XRP. So just to clear that up, and it will be a new airdrop. It's not going to be based on the one that happened with the Flare network. It will be its own thing. So I'm sure that'll make some newer holders excited about that. And then basically after these first three epochs, the network will be live and launched. And so you can see that on a per day basis or even per hour, how the rewards decrease over time as these epochs kind of advance. So in the first one, it's 24 weeks, and then in every subsequent epoch, that like amount of time is going to double. So 24 to 48, 48 to 96, so on and so forth. That leads the total token distribution, basically taking, I want to say, just shy of 60 years they have. Oh, yeah, here we go, 58.61. And additionally, you can see that, there's 64 evers coming out per moment, which was that 72 ledger closings we talked about a minute ago. And it will have every new epoch it goes into. So the distribution time gets longer and the reward amount gets lower over time. So definitely something just to know and take into account when this network comes alive. And then on top of having the Evers token, the node operators are going to be able to mint these things called hosting tokens, which are going to be non fungible assets that live on the XRP ledger. These hosting tokens are going to represent different service levels of the node operators and what they call a best endeavors promise, as they cannot guarantee the node is always up and running that you pay for. That's kind of one of the things. There's no like entity to force that to happen, so it's decentralized. So it comes kind of with this what they call a best endeavors promise. And the really cool thing about these hosting tokens, so if we have a bunch of not node operators minting our non fungible assets that represent their services they provide, well, if you take these onto the XRP Ledger DEX, this can provide like a natural price discovery for node services on the network. So maybe certain types of things get priced higher because they're more in demand, or maybe a bad node actor, so somebody that doesn't do a good job of providing the computational resources that they're supposed to be to a paying dApp, they could start getting basically discounted on their hosting tokens. And that means people could kind of have a way to identify who are good or bad actors as far as the node operators go. Additionally, the XRP Ledger DEX is going to provide an automated way for the Evers token to be swapped between dApps that are paying fees for the node hosting that's happening within the Evernode ecosystem. So that's kind of cool that they're going to be utilizing the DEX on the XRP ledger. That's something that I'm excited about. I love anything that's really going to add more utility there. And the use of non-fungible assets with these hosting tokens also is a really interesting use case to me. And then moving on, all of the Evers token holders will have governance rights. However, you need a minimum amount of Evers to actually vote on what they call a resolution. And so basically, this has to do with like the configuration of the XRP ledger hooks and kind of the requirements for you. So if you want to submit a resolution, you're going to be required to hold at least 200,000 Evers tokens, and you would have to lock them up so that you're saying you're also going to vote on the resolution you put through. And if you want to vote on a resolution, you have to hold at least 20,000 Evers tokens, which would need to be locked up to vote as well. And for every 20,000 Evers tokens that you lock up, you are entitled to one vote. Um, and basically, the way a resolution pass is after 14 days, if the number of votes cast in favor of a resolution is double those opposed to it, then it will pass. And then finally, kind of with the Eversnode system, they're going to have a nonprofit foundation that's going to be the curator of the nascent ecosystem being formed, as well as being in charge of, making copies of the open source code, deploying it out on the internet so people can access it and do with it what they will. Also, they'll be looking for like easy ways to set up nodes and help people doing that stuff, as well as maybe provide some like bounties for the early days for people to try and find bugs. And then also, it could act as a notary service. And this goes into another, I guess you would say, application that this team that we mentioned earlier is trying to build that has to do with KYC. So they could act in that function in the future, and also testing. And then if we move on, we're going to kind of just touch on what HotPocket and Sashimo are a little more before we close out this part of the video. And basically, HotPocket is its own consensus protocol in layer 2. It's UNL based, and it's basically an engine that assists in the running and maintenance of blockchain agnostic dApps. Um, HotPocket will just consist of any number of Linux machines, which aren't like the hardest thing to boot up and run in the world, and they are arranged to form a mini blockchain to run dApps on in any smart contract language at scale. So that's also really cool. It's going to be blockchain agnostic, smart contract language agnostic, and provide a way for these dApps to scale. And additionally, they have something called rapid state sync that allows these HotPocket nodes to easily be spun up, and they don't have to replay old ledger closings, so they can get up to speed quickly with the current state of consensus within the Evernode ecosystem. And then additionally, they're utilizing a state management system that's modeled after BitTorrent, which is a rather well-known thing in the blockchain space. And yeah, I think that covers a good amount of what HotPocket's doing. Just realize it's living in layer 2, and it is its own consensus protocol. And then the final part of this we'll touch on is Sashimono, which is a daemon, and all this is doing is communicating between layer 1 of the XRP ledger or whatever blockchain, maybe if they deploy this on other stuff in the future, back to the layer 2 protocol, which is like the HotPocket consensus. And the way that they would accomplish this on the XRP ledger is either via hooks or multi signature schemes. Hooks are much more decentralized, so that's preferable. And part of the reason the team has said they need hooks on the XRP ledger to do this. And so, Nikki, I kind of want to turn this over into a conversation like more broadly about the XRP ledger, layer 2, and dApps, more dApps coming to the XRP ledger in the future. So I'll let you take that away.
Absolutely. And I think these projects show the power of the growth of what's happening with blockchain in general, but really with the XRP ledger and scaling up to layer 2. So all the work that's been done in the past to get the XRP ledger mainnet as efficient as it can be using network resources and as fast as it can, now the scaling and all the applications can take place at layer 2 in a decentralized way. And hooks really is going to be, I think, a powerful addition and enhancement to the XRP ledger. Will allow to connect layer 1 to layer 2. So just to clarify here now, we heard a lot about side chains. So what's being described here is the same thing as side chains. So just so you understand, layer 2 is side chains. They're the same thing, and they connect to layer 1. Ripple talked about the federator system. So hooks would replace the federator system with a trustless way to connect those two. And then the daemon there allows them to communicate using the hooks amendment. And I like that what you said with the XRP ledger's DEX, how now these layer twos allow to utilize the XRP Ledger's built-in exchange, decentralized exchange, in a way with NFTs, with new tokens. So XRP is not going to be the only asset on the XRP Ledger. And now we could see how new tokens, I mean, it's a total new utility, total new use case, total new demand, total new value of what's possible out there. And even those NFTs will have value. So it's of like what we thought blockchain was going to be, or even just the XRP Ledger as a payments network. It's going to be so much more than that in the years to come. And we could see that now with developments like this. And then also with that XRPL, which is the decentralized identity solution and smart contract, decentralized smart contract authority to certify those. And that's just, it's really powerful what's going to evolve in the future in the next decade. And it's going to be a lot more than what we originally thought. And I think layer two is big, Patty, because this is where the actual applications are going to be able to be built, and they could use any smart contracting language, and they can be built and configured in any way. And I think HotPocket is kind of what you're saying here. I know some people are going to probably ask, well, is this like Codius? It's kind of an evolution of Codius. It's what Codius was always trying to do, was like a layer two solution. Ripple didn't really have a use case for it then. And now all of a sudden you see the use cases are coming out now. This uses its own protocol, so it is different than Codius, but I believe HotPocket was derived from Codius, right, Patty?
I'm not entirely sure, but I mean,
I
I definitely
think
see a
so.
lot of the similarities with
Mm-hmm.
like Evernode's the project as a whole, and like it being centered around computational resources. You know, they
Mm-hmm.
have a way to utilize smart contracts in layer two with this hot pocket consensus. So, I mean, it really does seem like similar in a way to Codius.
And with running of the nodes, I think this is something that, at first, 6 months ago or so, you asked me about nodes, and I'm like, that's nice, people running nodes. But now it's something that I think with a basic Linux machine, which is just like a basic laptop, anybody could run these nodes. And it's something we could participate as testers. And you could run a node and you could now earn revenue stream in the Evernodes. And you could be a participant in the network. And now you're not just part of the XRP community, now you're part of a layer two community that has its own governance, and you're earning another token. So this goes back to what we've been saying for a while now, Patty and I, is that 99% of the tokens are not going to disappear. They're only going to grow and expand, and we're only going to have more and more investable opportunities out there. And this is, for example, one. So you get this for just having XRP. Unfortunately, it's not going to be, I've seen a lot of questions already. If I hold FXRP, am I going to get XRP? And you clarified that earlier, that you will not, because it's just for the XRP ledger. So we'll go into detail when that actually occurs and how they detail it. But just keep in mind, everyone, this is not happening right now or anytime soon. So just be patient. We're just giving an overview of early on. There's no snapshot date yet. It's just released the white paper. So I think that's important, but it goes to show how much can be built so quick after Hooks is developed. And now this is just showing how a decentralized sidechains can be done. Now, we don't know what RippleX is building. We don't know what RippleNet is building. We know Ripple, they're working on the CBDC private ledgers. I think personally, RippleNet itself is just a private ledger sidechain. And Ripple just connects the transactions to the XRP ledger. I mean, it's just pretty much that's what I think RippleNet is. I mean, they don't say that specifically in detail, but that's pretty much what you're doing with RippleNet. It's its own private ledger. They're sending payments, and then it connects back to the XRP ledger with ODL, with the exchange's wallets. So this technology and the concept of what Ripple's doing and what the XRP Ledger team now, I guess, I don't know what to call them, but Scott and Richard are building, and they're out of Australia, are really expanding this layer too. So this is just the beginning of, I think, types of applications we'll see built on the XRP Ledger. We could see, decentralized finance and tokenization. And I think we will see those things, and showing that NFTs could be something else besides just, say, digital art, I think is pretty powerful too. And showing the identity tokens and just the hosting tokens, that was pretty interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think the hosting tokens is probably the coolest part, at least like from an economic standpoint, like being able to
Yeah.
price the node services using the
Mm-hmm.
decks. That's just something I'm going to be really interested to see
It's
how
like
that
a new,
works.
it's like a new financial instrument, and we'll probably see others come about in the future too, as new type of financial instruments get used with these NFTs, and then they start trading on the XRP ledger. So something like the RA stablecoin will be actually very useful in an environment and ecosystem like this, because not everyone is going to want to trade against XRP if it's always going to be volatile. There's going to be no set price for XRP. It's not going to be stable. It's always going to be moving. But you might want a USD decentralized stablecoin, and that's where something like RA will play a role in an expanding environment ecosystem like this, where it's backed by FXRP and Spark, but it trades on the XRP ledger in a decentralized way, pegged to the US dollar. So it's a big ecosystem that's going to develop, and it's something you might not have seen in like 2018, 2019, but now in late 2021, we're starting to see what's going to come in the years to follow. So it's exciting to me that layer 2 is really getting built out, and it's something I think that is a long time coming for the XRP ledger. You know, everyone's like, oh, Ethereum has smart contracts, and even Matt Hamilton said that a lot of the developers ask for smart contracts on the XRP ledger. But unlike Stellar, and this is where kind of the XRP ledger and Stellar diverged in different directions here, Stellar is trying to put everything into layer 1, a lot of it, at least with the anchors and what they're building. And the XRP ledger has kept the layer 1 really very efficient and low maintenance and robust. And now everything's going to go to kind of layer 2. So
Yeah,
that's just the difference in those.
Yeah, and I just want to add, Mickey. Yeah, so it's kind of funny because maybe a year ago or a little longer, there was really not much on the XRP ledger, and now we see like casino coins move there, Sologenics there now. We're gonna have this Evernode project coming out with its own token. Ore is gonna be issued on the XRP ledger, and then we may start to see like some of these F assets, whether it be Litecoin, Dogecoin, or Stellar, possibly trading on the XRP ledger and on the DEX. So, I mean, it's a lot of growth in just 1 year. This hooks thing, there's already one project looking at it. If it comes out, there's probably others that can use it. And then, as we see federated sidechains finally come to fruition, maybe hopefully like next year probably or something like that. I feel like there's going to be so much going on by the time we get done with 2022 compared to, what we started with in 2021.
Exactly. So I don't want to hear anybody say XRP is not for retail ever again. All right. Because I mean, there's just overwhelming evidence to show that retail is going to be a very big participant on the XRP ledger. And yeah, there'll be institutional use, but it's not just for banks. Like, definitely need to move past that as a community and see that we're all going to be able to participate here, and we're going to be here for a while. So if you're thinking of exit strategies, think about these things. And it's not financial advice or any type of tax advice, but think about what's being built here, and do you want to hang around this ecosystem, or are you looking just to cash out to fiat? Because this is evolving. It's not something that's just going to get there and then stop. It's going to just keep growing once it does, and it's pretty powerful what's being built here.
Absolutely. Well, this is one we're definitely.
Oh, and the one other thing was the XRP Ledger's DEX just connecting to this. I think was pretty. I just think that to note that, and the GateHub announcement today, I don't know if we talked about that earlier with the Zum wallet, you're going to be able to now trade with the Zum wallet and connect to the GateHub. So that's going to be an XApp. So that's another development in this direction. Like, it was only a year ago, it was very difficult to trade on the XRP ledger. Now you can get a Zum wallet and connect directly to the XRP ledger DEX and trade.
Yeah, that's just awesome. And so, as we keep watching this ecosystem develop, and especially Evernodes, we'll keep you guys updated with any big developments that come out in regards to it. I think this is very interesting from the start. And so that'll wrap it up for us. This is the DeFi Standard. I'm Patty XRP.
And I'm Mickey B. Fresh.
And we're out. See you guys.